He shoved him right in front of his own daughter, in broad daylight. No weapon, no threat, not even a raised voice. Just a man, waiting for a package. And a rookie cop who thought his badge made him king of the block. Let me back up a sec. It was a Thursday morning, the kind that smells like coffee and diesel fumes, where folks linger outside the corner store just to say hi. You know, the kind of morning where nothing should go wrong, and yet it did. Marvin Blake, 42, soft-spoken, blue jacket with one sleeve worn thin near the cuff, was waiting in line at a tiny post office counter tucked into a bodega. He wasn't in a rush. He'd just dropped his daughter, Layla, off at school and figured he'd grab the package that the mail carrier said they'd missed yesterday. The slip crumpled in his hand, still smelled faintly of the kitchen where he'd set it down beside the toast. He was smiling just slightly, like a man finally catching a quiet breath in a noisy world. That piece lasted, maybe 2 minutes. There was a delay at the counter. The clerk, a teenager with pink earbuds and chipped nails, went to check the back room. Marvin waited patiently, nodding politely at the man behind him. Someone muttered under their breath about how long it was taking. Marvin turned, gave a small, apologetic smile. You know that kind of smile, the one black men are forced to perfect. The one that says, I'm not a problem, I'm not a threat. Please, don't let this become something. And then he walked in. Officer Travis Hill, brand new badge, stiff uniform, buzz cut sharp enough to slice drywall. He moved like he'd watched too many training videos. The kind where every scene ends with someone being tackled. His boots stomped across the tile, like they were trying to make a point before his voice did. What's the issue here? Loud? Too loud. Marvin turned slowly, calm. No issue, sir. Just waiting on a package. Hill didn't like that answer. His hand hovered near his holster, not on it, just close enough to remind you he could. You raise your voice to the clerk. Marvin blinked. No, just showed her the slip. I heard shouting from outside. There wasn't any shouting, Marvin said, voice low, steady like a man who knows someone already decided the ending and is just trying not to fit the script. That's when a voice cut through the quiet. Don't touch my dad. Layla, 9 years old. Pink backpack sliding off one shoulder, eyes wide and scared, stepped out from behind a shelf of off-brand bottled water. She shouldn't have even been there. She'd forgotten her lunch, ran back to give it to him. Marvin immediately turned to shield her. Sweetheart, stay back. But Hill didn't pause. He pushed her aside, not hard, but enough to make her stumble, and grabbed Marvin's wrist, twisting it behind his back. A gasp from the cashier. A phone came out. Someone whispered. He didn't do anything. I said step outside, Hill snapped, clicking cuffs around Marvin's wrists before anyone could blink. Marvin didn't resist. He just looked at his daughter and said, It's okay, baby, I'll be fine. But no one believed that, especially not Layla. By sundown, the video had already made it to over 2 million people shared in group chats, neighborhood forums, even picked up by a national commentator who simply captioned it, This, again. It was a gut punch. A black man on his knees in a parking lot, his daughter clinging to his arm. A white cop standing above him, hands still resting on his baton like justice had to be enforced before it was understood. The next morning, the case landed on the desk of Judge Elena Navarro. Now, if you don't know her good, that's how she likes it. She's the kind of judge who doesn't care about press conferences or headlines. 25 years on the bench, quiet, sharp, and deeply tired of bad stories told by people who never bother to listen. But something about this one stuck. Maybe it was the way the girl's voice cracked. Maybe it was the way Marvin didn't shout, didn't resist, just protected. Or maybe it was because, deep down, she remembered what it felt like to have someone look at you and see danger where there was only dignity. She hit play on the body cam footage, and that's when things got weird. The screen skipped. It showed the start Hill entering, talking, but jumped right past the part with Layla. Straight to Marvin in cuffs, the part everyone had seen online, gone. Judge Navarro didn't flinch. She asked no questions. She just leaned back and stared at Officer Hill as he sat, arms crossed, face blank. "Glitch," he muttered. "Some of the newer cams have issues. I filed a report." He didn't blink. But someone did. In the back of the courtroom sat a kid, Leo Sandoval, 19, political science student, second row observer, scribbling in a notebook. His pen stopped cold. He knew that name, Hill, not from the news, from home. 2 years ago, Leo's older brother was stopped by a pair of officers in a different state. No charges, no report, just bruises and silence. One of the officers had a badge from a program called Outrage Advanced Training Division. Leo's stomach dropped. After court recessed, he texted a friend at the campus paper, then pulled every public record he could find. And sure enough, there it was, a pattern. Same training center, same cluster of officers, different cities, same results, footage missing, complaints sealed, reports never filed. He brought the findings to Judge Navarro that afternoon. She requested a federal digital forensic review. Enter Agent Dani Vega. No nonsense, no jewelry, blazer-like armor. She stepped into court like she already knew the ending. "The file hash," she said, lifting a flash drive, "matches tampered files from the Aldridge suite. Someone accessed this footage using a key still active in that network." Hill's throat twitched. Navarro let it hang in the air. Then she spoke. "Officer Hill, you never filed a report." He hesitated. "I didn't think it was necessary. There was no arrest." "No arrest," she said. "You cuffed a man in front of his daughter and led him outside. There is footage, if not yours. Then the city's. But yours skipped the moment that mattered most. Convenient, isn't it?" He had no answer. Then a second voice spoke quiet from the gallery. "I remember him." Everyone turned. Marvin's daughter, Layla, stood beside her aunt, holding a drawing. She said it simply. "He didn't even look scared when he hurt my dad." You could hear a pin drop. From there, it moved fast. The Federal Oversight Committee reopened 8 past cases. The Aldridge program was suspended. More names came to light, more footage glitches, more silence cracked open. And then, Captain Aldridge himself showed up. Tailored suit, cufflinks, calm as ever. He didn't deny it, he just shifted the blame. "We don't train officers to harm, we train them to respond." Navarro didn't even raise her voice. "You train them to assume guilt, to erase nuance, to see threat in anyone who didn't look like them." He smirked. "You're speculating." "No," she said, "I'm reading the blueprint." And just like that, it fell apart. Aldridge was escorted out. Hill was suspended pending criminal investigation. The city ordered a full audit of all body cam footage flagged for glitches. But that wasn't the end. Not by a long shot. Because Leo, he kept digging. And what he found, names, locations, payments, private contracts, suggested something even uglier. A pipeline, quiet, profitable, dangerous. And still running. Weeks later, in the same courtroom where it all began, a hearing was held. This time, it wasn't Marvin in the spotlight. It was Layla. She stood beside Leo at the podium, 2 kids who shouldn't have had to carry this, but did. She held her drawing up to the mic. It was of her dad holding her hand, standing tall. Behind them, a cop's badge was drawn upside down. "I don't want him to be afraid anymore," she said. "I want the rules to be the same for everybody." The room went quiet again. And this time, it wasn't fear. It was something close to hope. Not naive, not blind, just scarred hope. Outside, the wind picked up. A girl and a boy walked down the courthouse steps, not with triumph, but with purpose. Justice doesn't always come with cheers. Sometimes it shows up in silence. Sometimes it walks in with a notebook and a question. And sometimes it starts with a little girl saying, "Don't touch my dad." If this story made you feel something, anger, hope, frustration, fire, drop a comment below. Do you think justice is finally being rebuilt or just patched over again? Let us know, because your voice, it matters. And the more people speak up, the harder it becomes to silence truth. Thanks for watching. Stay brave, stay loud, stay human.